Good morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Real in Real Estate. I'm Elie Morris with Signature Real Estate Group, and I'm excited to be here. We got a great guest coming on shortly, Joel Schwartz, a good friend of mine from back in Detroit. But first, we're going to get into the numbers, talk a little bit about the Las Vegas market and what's happening around town. Well, we have more good news. Our numbers are going up, not dramatically, but they're going up. They're really just eking up. But I will tell you, yesterday I looked for the numbers for the show today. We had 2,032 listings available. And this morning I double checked it. We jumped all the way up to 2,071. So we added almost 40 more listings. It's still a mess out there. I mean, we have less than a month's worth of inventory. But again, to all you folks out there trying to buy and getting frustrated with the process, just keep plugging along. We are getting buyers in, veterans, new first-time home buyers. You just have to be patient. You have to be aggressive. You have to think outside the box. We have 555 condos available and still have 64 manufactured homes out there waiting for a lucky buyer. So keep fighting the fight. Don't give up. Play the game, and you will get into a home and start getting your piece of the American pie. Hey, more great news here in Las Vegas. All the MGM resorts, all the Caesar properties, and all the Boyd gaming properties are now at 100% capacity effective today. So get out your lucky charm, head on down to the casino, join the crowd, and win some money. One more thing I want to mention about Las Vegas. This is a big thing for me. You know, yesterday, 22 veterans committed suicide. 22 more are going to commit suicide today. 22 committed suicide on Wednesday. This is a daily thing. We're making it aware. I'm wearing my T-shirt, Ron side over here. Stop, drop, and push, where we make you aware and want you to be conscious of the fact that 22 veterans commit suicide every single day. We're out there, a VA rep, Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals. We're trying to raise money to help our veterans through financial literacy. And our poker run is on June 6th. So hopefully you can be there with us June 6th. I'll get all the bikers out, and we got a great route planned out. We're starting at Jack's in Henderson. We're going to the Harley Davidson after that. Then we'll be at the Home Run Bar. Then we're taking a long drive out to the Pioneer Saloon, that famous saloon out in Good Springs. And we're ending up at the Leatherneck Club, the little Marine Museum up in near Chinatown. So that's June 6th. And we want you out to come out and have some fun, raise some money for our veterans. All right, here we go. I'm excited now. I'm bringing on my good buddy. This guy is not only a great guy, he's a character. I love character. I consider myself a character, but I don't hold a candle to Joel, man. I want you to all meet a good friend of mine, Joel Schwartz. Joel, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, Elie? It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Good to see you, man. I'll tell you, Joel, I was so blessed. We had a friend, may rest in peace, named Al Foyer, that introduced me to Joel. And, you know, you never know how a relationship's going to go, what road you're going to take. But I met Joel for lunch. I remember Joel was at the Excalibur.
I was just going to say that. It was the Excalibur.
And you had that Mercedes with that hardtop that folded into the trunk, right?
Okay, you're right.
Beautiful car. Anyway, then I get out to Florida, out to Las Vegas, and Joel's out here. I'm with Carol. We don't know diddly squat about Las Vegas, but Joel was already a pretty good sized investor out here. So he's driving his Cadillac. We're following him in our whatever car we had, and he took us to Anthem. I will never forget driving through that and seeing those waterfalls. And you just exposed us to this whole new part of Vegas we had no idea. And then to continue, Joel was kind enough to give me my very first listing in this town. Was it Minuet? Have I got the right name?
That's the one on the list, yes.
Was that called that right street?
It was Minuet. I'll tell you the story of that in a second. Go ahead.
That's it. I just want, so when I first met Joel, he was in the ticket business, a ticket broker, one of the biggest ticket brokers in the country. And today he's on his way to become one of the biggest realtors in metropolitan Detroit. So again, just glad to have you, man. Just glad to have you, and really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm really proud of you too, Elie. How far you've come since we're in Vegas, and now what you're doing and helping all those people out in Vegas. It's great. It's really great. And all the people that are watching, Ellie's got it going on. Believe me, I've done plenty of houses with him, and he knows his stuff. As testament is here by this podcast here. Going back to Anthem for a second, I was one of the first guys up in Anthem when they put the flag in the ground. I mean, I drove up, there was no waterfall, there was no nothing, there was just dirt. And they had a line, almost like a lottery, to get the houses. And I went out and scoped it out. I took my camera, and it was just dirt. And I picked the house. If you remember, it was on the edge with a view of the strip out the back. And it was really nice at first because it was peaceful and it was quiet. That was like my second choice. I had originally gone over by the airport, by the Henderson Airport, and I was going to get a house there. But then when I went one night, the light was going around and around in all the people's bedrooms. So I said, forget that. Went back to Anthem. I got that lot, and that was beautiful until the people started coming down the hill. Once it got developed, there was all kinds of noise, and I said, oh, time for me to move further down the hill. But there's a nice community all the way through there, and I see where they were blasting the mountains out.
Right, they're putting $1 million homes up there.
Houses up in the mountains. Those are beautiful views from up there as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it is pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. Now, how is you know what's going on in our market here? I mean, we have no inventory. I know you have no inventory.
I didn't count them up like you did, but all I know is that they don't last. Yeah. If they're good, they're gone quickly. And I'm part of the Mark Z team, so we have meetings and informational stuff thrown at us every single day. And I take heed to what you said about being persistent. As a buyer, you have to know that there are, in this market, a lot of people going after the same property that you're going after. Yeah. And be persistent. We can talk about a few tricks that our team has learned that work. And just don't give up, because at some point in time, what goes up has to come down, and what goes down has to come up. It wasn't too long ago, Elie, that you were telling me there was 24,000 listings on the market at one time. So anything is possible.
No, absolutely right, man. And it is a seller's market. We know that, and it could not be a better time to sell if you're able to.
Well, that's the key right there. Is it's a perfect time to sell. And then we have people that say, well, gee, if I sell my house, how am I going to buy another house? I can't find a house. So I tell them a couple different things. First of all, I don't know about you, but our team's been very rare that we've had somebody with money that couldn't find a house.
Right.
I mean, if you have money, you can always find a house. But maybe you're better off to buy the house that you want and go out looking for the house and put in 10 different offers. And when you come with a house that you like, you lock it up, and then you go sell your house, because it's not a problem to sell your house in today's market.
Unless you're greedy. If you're greedy, you're going to sit on it. If you price it properly, it'll be gone in 24 hours.
Well, it's going to be gone in faster than 24 hours, as you know, and we're getting multiple offers. I mean, how many offers are you guys getting on each house?
Listen, I'll tell you, I'll be real brief. I put up a listing on Tuesday, what we call our coming soon category. Going to go on the market on Friday today. Open house tomorrow. I said no showing until tomorrow. Tuesday, about noon, I got it up. Joel, I had an offer. This house is priced at $395,000, which is about $5,000 under appraised. $425,000. Waive the appraisal contingency. They got the cash, approved the fund. Yeah. So I never even had to put it on the market. I mean, it was on coming soon, and it's gone. It's unbelievable.
Beautiful.
But that's the kind of trick. I don't think trick's the wrong word. That's the marketing strategy we're using out here. Price, if you're smart, price it a little under where it's supposed to be. Drive a ton of traffic there. You'll get well over.
We do it by increments of $25,000. If we're over 300, we do it in $25,000 increments. So if your house is 400,000, we might ask, or 390, we go to 375. We want it to be attractive. I took a client to see a house about a month ago. The house was in Southfield, listed for 170, I believe, 150 or 170, 150. I said, the house is worth more than 150. Let's go bid what it's worth, 170. We did. We didn't end up winning. We raised our bid. The winning bid was 185,000 cash with an appraisal guarantee, a gap on the appraisal, and waiving the inspection. That's
Waive the inspection, really?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea to waive an inspection. Waive the
I don't
appraisal.
think it's a good idea either. I think, for the people that don't know out there, one of the really good things about the inspection is that it's subjective. And what do I mean by subjective? It's not objective, what a reasonable person would think. It's subjective. It's what you think. It's what Elie thinks. Well, Elie says, I don't know about this and I don't know about that, and it's going to cost a lot of money. And for me, it's not really worth it. Now, the seller can come back and make, in the old days, the seller would come back and make concessions. Now the seller goes to the next guy in line and jacks the price up by a few thousand and gets more and says, see you later. So I don't know, what the inspection is going to do other than let you know whether there's something really wrong with the house. But it can't be used in any kind of negotiation today.
Today really can't. But you do want to know if your air conditioner works, if there's any plumbing issues. At least you want to know that up front so you know what you're getting into. I got to go back to this house in Southfield because, when I can go back 50 years ago, Southfield was the premier place in Southeast Michigan. And now you're telling me a house is selling for $185,000. Where was this house? Where was this?
Okay, let's put it this way. That was in 10 Mile Road, east of Southfield, west of Greenfield.
Okay.
But all of the houses in Oak Park now are at least 200,000 for those little 1,300 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath houses.
Amazing.
And the guy just saw for sale by owner the other day, 350,000 in Southfield for 2,300 feet. Those houses that are a little bit closer to Southfield are a little bit bigger. They're a little bit newer. And I've sort of been trying to work with all of the Jewish people there that walk to synagogue. I'm sort of developing a niche for them to help them out.
Good.
And that's pretty good. So that's how I know about all those houses. And I grew up there. I grew up in Oak Park on Nadine and Gardner, and I went to Berkeley. So
okay.
I know the whole neighborhood.
Well, the home that I grew up in, my parents in 1958 paid $19,000. They sold it in 73 for 30. Now you're telling me it's worth almost $200,000.
Yeah. My father bought his house brand new there, I believe, for $29,000 in 1967. So, things what goes around comes around. But the neighborhood has held up nicely.
Good.
And so it's unbelievable.
So you grew up in what they once called North Oak Park. Do they still call it North Oak Park?
They don't. They just call it Oak Park. But North Oak Park is differentiated by 10 Mile Road is Berkeley School District along with Huntington Woods, and south of 10 Mile Road is Oak Park School District. And the ones that are north of 10 Mile Road tend to be more valuable or worth more money per square foot, mainly because of the school district, I would say.
Yeah, no, that's good. Last time I was in Birmingham, which was a couple of years ago, quite a few years ago, it looked like it kind of was going down. How's Birmingham doing?
Going down in what way?
Well, I was downtown. There were a lot of stores that were closed, and it just didn't look as vibrant as I remember it being.
Well, they just did a renovation of Woodward Avenue.
Oh.
Old Woodward Avenue, where 15 and Woodward is not the new one where there's pretty much nothing.
No, I know what you mean. Downtown, Old Woodward.
Old Woodward, yes. And it took them several months and it was a mess. I think it's fixed now. But as far as the real estate in Birmingham is going, it's off the charts.
Yeah.
It's literally off the charts. I saw one sell last week for $380,000 for 1,300 square feet.
Are they doing a lot of teardowns?
There's not a lot of teardowns there left. left. I mean, the teardowns tend to be on the main street on 14 Mile Road or on Lincoln, the ones where nobody, I mean, the really old ones would be very, very good property, but people don't want to build those big houses on the main street. So the ones that are inside the subdivision and inside, I have a couple of friends that built houses over there, and they go from, it'd be like one of those $350,000 houses that nobody put any time into, and they tear them down, and then they become $1 million homes.
Yeah, they used to do
But
that. Yeah.
it's not any good because the houses are so close together. You're paying all this money for a house, and you're in a city, but they love it there. They walk to here and they walk to there, but they have no privacy in the backyard. You're looking out on.
Is Peabody still open?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
The fun place. Yeah, Birmingham used to be a great place to go on a Friday or Saturday night, man.
And I think that your analysis is pretty correct in regards to the retail stores. They've come and gone because the rent's so high. And before that, the food and beverage and entertainment places were pretty busy, and then COVID came along, and so that sort of threw a wrench into that. And it's going to be interesting to see where they go. They have igloos in the streets, they have decks, they have all kinds of stuff to try to help the merchants, but the people come and go. Leo's is gone from Birmingham downtown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they come and they go. They can't pay the rent.
I understand there's a lot happening over in Ferndale, Royal Oak, going right into that. Pretty hot.
It is. I mean, I've only been selling real estate for about 5 months now. So I really haven't, I only started once the COVID came. So I haven't focused my attention there. I've been mostly focusing in West Bloomfield, Farmington Hills, Southfield, Oak Park, in those areas, a little bit of Livonia, Northville, Westland.
Just before we left in 2005, Royal Oak was hopping and buzzing. And I don't know what's going on now.
It's still expensive, but I guess it's still good. It's still a nice place to live. Still got a great location.
Are they doing,
everything's expensive.
Are they doing that run? What do they call that? On Woodward in August. What's that called again? The Dream Cruise. Does that still go on?
No, they've moved the Dream Cruise, to the best of my knowledge. They've moved it up to Pontiac, where they have that Grand Prix circuit track. It's like the car condominiums, and they have a little racetrack out there, and they're preparing to do something there, and maybe through Pontiac. I don't think that they're going to run it down Woodward Avenue, but now with all the restrictions being lifted, who knows what's going to happen. I think it's a fluid situation, day by day. We're still wearing masks in our showings and limiting the number of people that we can have in open houses, and still trying to be safe to protect not only the people going through, but the homeowners as well.
Good. Let's talk for a minute about some buying tips. Give some folks what you think might be some good tips on how to get an offer accepted.
Well, I think a couple of things are important. First of all, I think communication is important. If you or your agent just sends an email or just sends it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I send you an email and it's got an offer, it's like, okay, you put it in the stack and you consider it. 9 out of 10 aren't going to be high enough for what you want. But now the guy calls, you have your agent call, say, hey, this is me, I'm Joel Schwartz, Elie, you're the listing agent on the house. My client really wants to buy the house. So the trick is to get a good agent who's going to advocate for you.
Absolutely.
And be in touch with the agent first of all. And then tell the agent that you're willing. Here's a tip that we use. We have a contract that we put out that guarantees us that we're going to be the highest bidder. So you tell the seller, look, you get your best offer and I'll beat it by 1,000. I'll beat it by 2,000. I'll beat it by 5,000. All you have to do is show me a bona fide offer that's real. And my offer gets bumped to that. We want to be the highest bidder. But you have to understand that when you do this, you still have to come with a guarantee of the appraisal gap. They're not going to accept an offer over asking price when they know that it might not appraise. So they're going to want you, the buyer, to be able to make up that difference.
Right.
And for some people who have a lot of equity in their home, it's not necessarily so hard to do. I mean, if you have somebody that can come in with 50% equity, so they just put that equity down towards that gap. Significantly harder for the first-time buyer and the person who's short on the cash to be able to get their offers accepted in today's market because of that not being able to come up with enough money. What I tell them is, let's go look at a house that's been on the market for a while.
There you go.
Let's go look at the ugly duckling. Let's go look at the one that's been there for 200 days and find out why. Is it on the main road? Does it back up to a smelly pond? What's the deal with it?
And really, no matter what they buy, they don't have to love this home. They just have to be able to live in it, because they can, in 3, 4, 5 years, they build some equity, they can go sell it. But they have to stop looking for the perfect house.
I think one of the hardest things for me as an investor was going into a house and looking at it and being able to say, okay, what does this house need? The same way as myself as an investor would go in there and look at it, the buyer should go into the house and say the same thing. Because in essence, he is the investor. He is buying the house. And one day he is going to have to sell that house. So why not put himself in the best position possible? But the hardest part was saying, what does it look like without this ratty carpet? What does it look like with white walls as opposed to red and yellow and purple walls? What does it look like when I change the knobs on the cabinets? What does it look like when I put tile on the floor? What does it look like when I take this cheap $29 fixture out and put in a $150 fixture? And I paint the whole place. Whatever else you want to do, put a few toilets in, put a few sinks in, put a few faucets in, put cabinets if you want, as you want to get more extensive. But for the person on a budget, some of those first few things that I mentioned. But carpeting, flooring, and paint are a must.
Those are great tips. And those also are great tips for sellers to do before they put it on the market.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you have a dated house, I know out in Las Vegas, there's several places over on Dean Martin Boulevard where they have, most of them come from China, but there's knobs. They have hundreds and hundreds of knobs, fancy contemporary knobs. And if you have white cabinets or you have beige cabinets, go out and pick those knobs that accentuate your cabinetry and take off those cheap 29-cent builder grade knobs that they put on that the builder didn't want to pay for, and put some $10 knobs on there and watch how your kitchen looks a whole lot sharper. Plus some backsplash. You can buy the backsplash cheap. At the tile stores, put up some backsplash. They don't know. They think, oh, wow, look at this beautiful backsplash. You catch their eye, and they're not looking at why they shouldn't buy it. They're looking at why they should buy it.
I got to tell you, to everybody out there listening to Joel, now I'm here in Las Vegas. I have learned so much from listing and selling Joel's homes from Joel about just that, changing the knobs, the backsplash, the paint, the flooring. Joel, the Detroiter, turned me on to places that I didn't know about here in Las Vegas. So, yeah, this guy knows, how to jazz up a home. All you sellers, I'm telling you, you want to sell your home, you talk to Joel. He will tell you how to do it, and you did a great job out here. Help me out.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Hey, let me ask you something. You still playing poker?
I went down to Motor City to play in a tournament, and it was a very, very bad experience. They have these pieces of glass. They make you wear a mask. You can't have anything to drink. It just was not a pleasurable experience. I made it to the last two tables. I almost made the money, but I ran out of chips. So I packed it up. I don't think I'm going to be going back there anytime soon. I'm headed down to the Hard Rock next Wednesday for 3 days. So I have a ticket.
Where's the Hard Rock at?
Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida.
Oh.
It's one of the poker capitals of the world.
Okay.
So I'm going to be going down there. They have tournaments and big stake games. Not that I'm a big stake player, but I do like the tournaments.
Good. And, hey, listen, we're almost going to wrap this up. But I ask all the guests the same questions. You can answer it twice now. I always ask people to come on, what are some of their favorite spots here in Las Vegas? I'd like you to tell us your favorite spots in Las Vegas and in Motown. So, let's start with your restaurant. You got a favorite restaurant here in town, in Vegas?
Yeah, I have two favorite restaurants. The first one is Piero's over by the convention center, an old school Italian place.
Classic.
My old friend Jerry Tarkanian used to hang out there. They have a lot of NBA, NFL players there now. Can you still hear me okay? Because
Yeah.
my screen.
Yep.
Okay. The second place that I really like is in the Bally's Hotel. There's something called the Sterling Brunch. It's an old-time brunch for old-time VIPers. They've opened it up to the public. It's a little bit more than $100 a head on Sunday morning, but it's all you can drink, top-notch champagne, filet mignon, lobster tail, caviar. I mean, they have it all. It's not just a regular brunch. It's a VIP brunch. And Detroit, now you want to go to Detroit?
Yeah.
One of the places that I like eating, all my favorite places like the Excalibur are all gone. I'm going to give a shout out. I'm going to give a shout out to my good friend Mark over at Lully's on the Green, over on 12 Mile Road. They really do the filet nice. They have a little back patio that they put parties out on, and everything is always top notch with those guys. So you can't go wrong.
Lely's was always a great restaurant. Is this the same people that have the Lely's downtown?
It's a cousin. It's a cousin of his, Stephen Lully. It was the cousin, and my friend Mark owns the restaurant, and he runs it. You can go call him anytime. Tell him Joel sent you down there, and they'll take care of you. You'll get the VIP. Tommy Hearn's been hanging out in there a lot.
All right.
Tommy's got his own little booth with a bunch of pictures behind him, and him and Jackie, and a bunch of stuff that he's got. So it's sort of cool.
That is
to
cool.
see.
We have a couple Detroit Coney Islands out here, but people don't realize how big those are. In every corner, there's a Coney Island pretty much in Detroit.
Yeah, but the American and the Lafayette, they go pretty strong. The corner Conies are not really like they are downtown. How's the one in Vegas? Is that one taste?
The American Coney Island is still downtown, and it's no different.
Very, very good.
Yeah, it's cool,
very
man.
Good. I'm excited to come back and see you out in Vegas soon, and hopefully we can get together and do this again. It's a lot of fun.
I would love it. Listen, thank you a ton for coming on, Joel. I know you're going to kill it in real estate like you killed it in the ticket business, and just appreciate you very much.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it very
Thanks.
much.
Have a great day. We're going to wrap this up with one last comment to you folks. Please remember, 22 veterans every day commit suicide. Give them your thoughts. Hopefully you can attend our poker run on June 6th, and we'll see you next week. We got Andy Lumsford. We're going to talk playoff hockey because the Golden Knights are in the playoffs again. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks again, Joel. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.